Hello and welcome to this video on the Employee Self-Serve portal using the ISolved platform, which is what your employer has now been migrated to. It will be a little different than other employee portals that you may have experienced before, but we're going to walk through what is in the portal on the basic setup for you and kind of show you how to update your information and how to review other information in the system. So from here, once you have logged in, hopefully you've seen the previous video about how to activate your account and access your employee portal. But here, this is what the desktop looks like, or the dashboard looks like when you first log in to the portal. What you should see is a greeting up here. Good morning to your name, or your preferred name is here. You do have a navigation bar over on the left-hand side, but you also have tiles right here as well that pretty much mirror the same thing that's in each of these sections here. So we'll be using both in this video. So just know that you can use either the dashboard to get to where you need to get to, or you can use these navigation buttons over here. So we're just going to jump right into it. It is divided out on a basic setup into pay and tax, into personal, and any kind of third-party apps, primarily for if your employer is using Swipe Clock and having you use Swipe Clock to clock in and out of the system for timekeeping, that will be listed here. If you are not using a timekeeping system through the portal, there will not be a tile here that says third-party apps. You'll be just fine from there. But we're going to get into this payroll and tax section first from here. We're going to go into the direct deposit section here. And this whole area is really going to cover everything like it lists out here between your direct deposit, which is your bank account information, your pay history, which is your pay stubs, your year-end tax forms, which are really your W-2s, and then your tax updates is where you can see what your tax filing status is, and also to be able to update your tax filing status as necessary if it has been enabled by your employer. So let's just get straight into that. We're going to click into the direct deposit link first to get in here. And what this is going to do, this is going to bring up a screen right here for you that will show you what direct deposit accounts are active for you. You have the ability, again, if the employer has opted for that, for you to be able to change or edit your banking information. Now, keep in mind that all of the items we're going to talk about where you have the ability to make changes will still be approved by somebody within your organization to make sure that everything is correct and that it's allowed and those types of things. So please keep that in mind, that somebody is reviewing it on the back end before it actually goes into payroll and it is actually active for you. So on here, you have the option of taking a bank account and making it inactive, and it will ask you again if you want to deactivate this, and you can say yes. And now you have essentially no direct deposit at this point in time, and a live check would be cut for you. But again, that has to be approved, and that would have sent a notification to your employer saying this employee has inactivated their direct deposit. And you can see that it's just as easy to activate it again by clicking on the activate button. Now we're going to see about adding a new one, or if you deactivated this, we would add it in this way if you wanted to change bank accounts. Just click on add new. We would enter the 9-digit routing number, and I'm going to put in just kind of a fake routing number for us. Hang on a second. And here is that routing number right here. I'm just going to paste that in. And we're going to say what kind of account it is, checking or savings, or if it's a pay card, checking or savings account is fine as well. We're just going to go with checking. The account number, we're just going to leave it as zeros. You can put a description in if you'd like to. And you can then specify if you want a flat dollar amount going in there, a percentage of your net pay, or the remaining net pay. For most accounts where you're getting everything put into one account, one direct deposit, you're going to just choose remaining net from here. And then we choose every pay period, and we just click on save. And it says you have one remaining net account is inactive, or you want to add a new remaining net account, and you just say okay. So now this is the inactive one, and this is the active one from here. If you wanted to add a savings account or an additional checking account and split some money out to that other account, you can do that as well. you just, again, follow that same process of add new, enter the routing number, enter the bank account number. We'll just change that to 1. Okay. Account number, account type, you can checking or savings. It's entirely up to you, but we're going to say this is a savings account. And we want to put in now, because the system knows that you already have one active one that has the remaining net, it's going to ask you for either a flat dollar amount or percentage of the remaining net pay. So you can split it out by percentage if you want 50-50 or 75-20 or what have you. You can do that as well. But we're going to say we just want a flat dollar amount, and I want $20 sent to that account every pay period from there. And we're just going to click on save. And so now you can see that you have 2 bank accounts that are active in here as far as that goes. And this is your savings account here, that bank account right here. And you can click into that to see the details of that account from there. Okay, and you can see it's a flat dollar amount of $20, and it's going into that account, and it is a savings account, and it's on every pay period. So you can do that with either account, any ones you have in here, or you can take one out if you'd like. Okay, so that is direct deposit. Now you'll see we have these other toolbars across, our navigation toolbar across the top: direct deposit, pay history, year-end tax form, tax updates. That is exactly the same thing that was out here on your tile here. So you do not have to come back out to the dashboard to get to these other areas if you do not wish to. So if you're on direct deposit, you can just continue down this line right here. So let's go into pay history right here, pay history. This is where you're going to find your pay stubs from previous pay periods or the current one, the most current pay period. Right now, we don't have one out there for this payroll right here between the March 19th and I'm sorry, yeah, March 19th and 24th. But if we go back one pay period, you can see here is the most recent pay stub information. Here was the net pay, here was the gross. So here's what you were paid, here's what this employee actually took home, and how many hours are attributed to them. You can also see other information here without having to actually print or download your pay stub. You can see what your filing status was on this payroll. You can also see earnings or memo codes on here. If you had earned it was 80 hours right there. If you had other earnings codes on there, if you had bonuses or commissions or something else in there, it would show here. This is going to give you what your employee taxes are, what you paid in taxes between your Social Security, your Medicare, your Missouri withholding, or state tax withholding, wherever you're at, if you're in a different state other than Missouri, and then what your total taxes are here, and what your year-to-date information is here as well. Now, this next section here will show you any kind of deductions. So if you had maybe a deduction for a medical or a dental plan or a vision plan, that would show here. If you had a child support or garnishment, that would show here as well. Anything that's deducted out of your paycheck is going to show underneath the deduction section. If you have time off enabled by your employer, and we have it recorded in the system here, this is going to show you what your time off has been, how many hours you've taken, how many you've accrued, and what your available balance is based on the current pay period. And then finally down here is your direct deposit. If you had a direct deposit for this payroll, which this employee did not because we're in a demo account, this will show your direct deposit information. Now you notice this last section down here, which is the download pay stubs section. You can download this single pay stub if you'd like. We're just going to say, okay, go ahead and download that. It's going to create that form for you in a PDF that you can now download or print, do whatever you need to do with that from there. We'll go through this, and then I want to show you the next option here in just a second, which is going to allow you to download multiple pay stubs at one time. So this is what your original individual pay stub looks like right here for that pay period, okay, which is very nice for us to be able to do that. Close that out. If we go down to download pay stub again, and we use this side of the drop down, we can do multiple pay stubs. So if you need a pay stub covering, or pay stubs covering a specific time frame, you can put in your date range there, or if you'd like, you can just choose the last 3 pay periods, which sometimes that's sufficient for what you're needing. And you just click on download, and then it will then again create those for you so that you now have them in available to be able to open up and to print or to email to somebody if you need to. Maybe your bank requires them, but there is your pay stubs right there, all of them in one file. Okay, so easy peasy kind of stuff. We like to make that as easy as we can for you guys. So that's your pay stub, your pay history information. You can also change if you had pay history from a different year, you can also pull that up. I think initially you will have the last 3 years in here of pay information. Let's talk about year-end tax forms, which is your W-2s. Because we're not a demo company, this is not going to have a W-2 in here, but this will be set up exactly like your payroll information for your pay stubs. It's going to show your pay history like we had your pay stubs out here based on the time frame you're looking for. The year-end tax forms will work exactly the same way. They'll be listed here by year and they'll be put in a PDF format so that you can download them and save them and do whatever you need to with them as well. But again, because we're in a demo environment, this employee does not have a W-2 in the system right now. Now, the last section of this pay and tax area is the tax updates. And this is where you have the ability to see how you are set for filing information right in here, both for state and for federal. You can kind of see those if they're not already expanded out, you can expand them out there. You can see that this employee is filing as a head of household for the federal income tax. And then for state, they're filing as head of household as well. But let's say you needed to change that for some reason. You can click on this Start Wizard button right here. And this is going to take you through that process of electronically filling out your W-4 for whatever reason you need to fill it out. So you can see this one, the last time we edited on this demo employee, we changed it from this address to this address. So we're just going to go back in and make some more changes. So we click on Start. You get to choose which one you want to update. If you don't want to update your state, you don't have to. You can say, I do not wish to complete this form at this time. But if you wanted to update just the federal, you leave it as, I wish to complete the form for this. Now, if it's flipped, again, you just take federal and say no, and you take the state and say, yes, I want to do my state. So we're going to use the state just for ease of use. Continue. It's just going to walk you through the questions that are on the normal W-4 for the state of Missouri or for the federal W-4 form. So it's going to say, what do I want to fill out? I want to fill out my state. And then I'm just going to walk through this. I am going to file that I am single, married, or single or married spouse working. We're filing separately. Those are 3 options on the form. I am not exempt from taxes for Missouri, or I mean, you can choose whichever one is applicable to you, but by and large, it's going to be no, I'm not exempt. If I want additional amount held out each pay period, let's say I want an additional $5. Oops, that's 50. $5. Sorry, held out every pay period. This is where I get to do that. Okay. If I want a different amount held out based on instead of the standard deductions, again, you have that same ability to do everything you do on the paper form. You're doing electronically here. So we're not going to make that choice there. We're just leave it at the $5 we want as additional. And from here, this is what we need to fill out here on this, and we understand under penalties of perjury, sorry, that you have correctly filled out this form. Now I need to real quick get my last 4 of the social security number for this demo employee. My apologies. Real quick. And that should be right here. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. 3214. And we're going to submit that form. Okay, so now you can see your new W-4 form. And again, this one's for the state. Okay, and then you just click on finish, and then you're done. Okay, so you can now click back on the home and you're back on your tiles. Now, a notification has been sent to your employer that you have submitted a request for a W-4 update for the state of Missouri. The same thing would happen for if you're changing your information for your direct deposit, for your federal W-4 form, and for your state W-4 form. Okay, so just keep in mind that those are still being approved and reviewed by somebody within the organization. All right, so that's the pay and tax information section right here. Now let's go into the personal area right here. So if we click onto the personal information right here, this is what we have in the system for you, what your employer has for you. And you can see that the date of birth and social security number are masked. You can click on that to kind of see what they are if we have that information and on you. So there's the social security number right there. We do not have a date of birth in on this employee. So, and we don't have any phone numbers. And so your employer may require you to update your date of birth and your contact information here. So to do that, there's an edit button right here. We just click on edit. We have all of our information that's pre-filled in on our first and last name. You can select your marital status. This is not changing anything on your federal or your state tax status. This is just purely informational purposes. You do not have to fill it out, but I just want you to be clear that this does not affect your tax filing status there. Here's your address. If you change your address, you're moving, you can put it in there. And again, that will come into your employer and that will be approved to put um, into your information there. Okay, so here is your work. Let's put your work phone number in there. 555-555-1555. Okay, and put your home number in there. Maybe they want a home number as well. And we go 573-555. Oops, I was a little too fast there. 31515. Okay, and so there is that information's in there, and we're going to save it from there. Okay, so there is how we update it. That information, again, that will go to your employer and your payroll or HR person, and they will approve that information. The next part of this section is your contacts information. So this is people in your family that the employer needs to know. Primarily underneath the emergency contacts, you can add in dependents and beneficiaries. This will be important for benefit enrollment. If we do benefit enrollment for you through the employee portal, your dependents and your beneficiaries will need to be listed as well. So if you want to get a jump on that, you absolutely can do that. So under your contacts, for your emergency contacts, we're going to add in a contact. We're going to add in new, and we're going to select what relationship that is. And we're going to say this is a spouse, but you have options down here on what you want to do, what relationship is, and then what are they? What category do they fall into? We're going to say this is an emergency contact, and we're going to say this is first name is Sting, keeping with the nautical pirate theme, Stingray. You can put in their date of birth here if you'd like. Oops. 101-2000. Okay, you can put in their social security number if you want to do that. Gender is optional, but you can choose, or if you don't want to tell them, that's fine too. You can use your employee address. It automatically fills that in for you. And then if you want to put in their mobile phone number from there as well. Okay. So there is that information right there. And the email address if that would be helpful. And we just click on save. And so now we have an emergency contact information in the system for you. Okay. Now, again, if you wanted to put somebody else in under your contacts and manage, and you wanted to list them, you want to add new, and you want to list them as maybe it's a child, and you want to put them in as a beneficiary or a dependent. Okay. And let's put in Frank Flounder right in there. And again, you can put in their birth dates. We're going to make this 05/01 of, let's go 2017. Okay. You can put in their social security number if you want to, or not. If they're a dependent, you're probably going to have to put in their social security number for them. So, okay, and use their obviously dependent. So they're assuming that they live with you right there. If they don't, you can always uncheck that box and add in the address that they are residing at. You can put phone numbers in there if you have them. If not, it's not required. We click on save. And now you can see that we have Stingray as your emergency contact, and as your dependent, we have a child, which is Frank Flounder, and we can get in there and edit that as necessary from there. And again, that information now has been sent into the system and sent to your employer, your HR, or your payroll point of contact to review and to add in. Okay. So that's the personal information section right here. We're going to move over to the messages section right here. The messages section is really something coming from your employer to you that they want you to pay attention to. You have two types of messages. There's an employee message, which is specifically just to you, or there is a company-wide message that can be put out there. And so on this employee message, they have in here just a general one that says, hey, please don't forget to update your contact information and mark what category of contact they are, emergency, dependent, or beneficiary. Thank you. Now, the employer decides when this message goes away. And at some point it may, or they may just leave it out there so that you always have that reminder to go out there and do that, whatever it is they're asking you to do. Or if it's just general, hey, we're having a celebration on this day, bring a dish or what have you. That information will be listed here for you. But if there's something specific to you, that will be up in here. Okay. There's, like I said, again, here's the company side of it as well. So we've gone through, let's go back to the home page. We've gone through the pay and tax information. We've gone through the personal information. Now we're going to go this third-party app here. If your company is using Swipe Clock already for timekeeping and we're leaving you on that platform for the time being, that's what TimeWorks Plus is called, as Swipe Clock. If you click on this link right here, it's going to take you into your portal like you're used to seeing already in Swipe Clock. So it's going to give you that option to be able to clock in and out and to look at your time card and do whatever you normally can do in Swipe Clock. That's going to give you that same ability to do that here. That is all that third-party app area does. Okay. Once, if your employer is having you use Swipe Clock through us to clock in and clock out, and then we move over into a different timekeeping system, then this tile may go away, and it will be a different area to be able to clock in and out for you guys. But again, you'll be notified of those changes from there. Okay, so again, this is pay and tax, direct deposit, your pay stub, your year-end tax forms, which are your W-2s, your tax updates, which is where you can change your W-4s, personal information, where you can update your own and your contact information, and then any kind of messages that you have. I do want to cover the difference between messages and notifications. Messages are fairly passive, and they will just show up from time to time if you have a specific message for you that the employer wants you to know about. However, notifications deal with if there is something that you specifically need to do, that there's like maybe we record certifications in the system for you and there's an expiration date coming up, or maybe there's a review date coming up, or a license needs to be updated for review. That's where your notifications will come in and you'll get notified. You'll have the notifications in here that says, hey, you have a certification needs renewal, please update, and the new expiration date on that license or certification. Those are the types of things that will come through your notifications. If you don't have that, then that's not a concern for you at all. Okay. Based on what your employer enables as far as services go, these tiles may change. You may see some additional tiles in here as well, based on what your employer is is enabling for you guys to have access to. But again, as those things happen, you'll be notified about those. So the last part of this I want to show you is this last little menu about how do you actually log out of the system here. These three dots right here will drop down another menu for you right here, and you'll be able to see other information and be able to sign out down here. This classic view, I'm going to tell you, stay away from that. We are transitioning to this new platform you see here. This is going to take you into what the old employee self-serve portal will look like. This will be going away, but that when you click into that, it will show you absolutely nothing on that page, and you won't be able to do anything with it. So you can ignore this classic view. You can look at your profile and see what is your preferred name. You can change that, pronouns that you use. If you need to put a cell phone number in there for authentication and authorization to log in, you can do that. You can change your password, and you can change your security question there as well. This deals with your account access here in the system. Okay. Um, the other options here are your preferences. Again, you have the same menu up here. Just as a point of reference, if you are employed by different companies that contract with us for your payroll and your employee self-serve services, you can switch companies here to get to your other information for your other organization. So that is a possibility here. Again, your preferences here on this is really comes down to that you have agreed to the electronic signature if your employer needs you to sign something electronically, and then the consent for your W-2s to be delivered electronically as well through your portal. And then the notifications, again, are notifications that are coming to you specifically as an employee. Then the last part over here is really just signing out. Once you do that, you're taken back to the home page, and then you are set and ready to go for the next time you want to log in. So that is the employee portal in a nutshell and in brief. Everything that you can do in there with between navigation and pulling information out and updating information as well. I hope this was informative for you, and we will see you on the next video. Thanks.